Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the Miami Dolphins and how their first preseason game went and what else happened behind the scenes, not just on the field but off the field as well. Relating to injuries, some background information, and apparently some teams are looking at Tyreek Hill. Let's get into it. Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about, the first part we're going to be talking about is what happened in that preseason game. Alright, we're just going to break down some of this film over here. So as you guys noticed on the first little kickoff return of the game, nice little tackle. Everyone got there in time. Nothing too impressive, but I just wanted to break down something here. Look at all these blockers here. Go on. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people already past their blockers. Everyone pushes him to a certain direction. We got another outside here, pushing him back inside. Linebacker here, pushed him inside. Perfect setup to make the tackle. There it is, just to wrap up and bring him down. Here's just another view of it. Look at that. There's literally nowhere he could go. He can't go outside here, he can't go inside, he can't go all the way across the field. Literally just boom, boom, bam. The reason why I'm showing that is because I feel like last year a lot of our special teams would just bring them into their spot where they were going to be put into good field position because of a good return, because our special teams unit was awful last year. One of the worst units on returns. But I feel like this year it's a little bit different. We have more linebackers. We have better linebackers than last year. So another thing I want to look at real quick is, let me just pull this up real quick on my other PC. Let's pull up the stats from yesterday. I am scared about one thing with this team, and it is their quarterbacks behind Tua Tagovailoa. What do I mean by that? Well, if you've ever watched a Miami Dolphins game, which I'm assuming if you're watching this video you have watched it, sometimes he makes stupid decisions, like running without sliding and then getting himself hurt. So if God forbid if Tua gets taken down, I don't want these quarterbacks stepping in and doing what they did yesterday. Though I feel like Zach Wilson's performance is definitely going under the radar for what he actually did. He had some poor snap counts where he literally was just running right into the defenders. He held the ball too long, didn't make the right decisions, but 5 for 9 with 96 passing yards is much better than what Quinn Ewers was doing with 5 for 18. Had a lot of inconsistencies, was holding the ball too long, had I think 2 fumbles yesterday, one of them turning into a touchdown, but I digress. The one thing I am very, very excited about for this team next year is our running backs. So sadly, today there's some information coming out that Alexander Madison has to have season-ending neck surgery, like the back of his neck. Yesterday he took a hit where he was tackled and he went right head first into the ground, and I think it tore something into his neck. But the one, I don't want to say good thing about that because you never want someone hurt, but I think this man right here, Ollie Gordon, will be turning into that running back 3 position with Devon Achane, and actually he might be ahead of Jalen Wright too, because Jalen Wright did not have a great day yesterday. But Devon Achane obviously going to be the running back 1, Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright fighting for running back 2. But also today there was another visitation with another running back, Jamal Williams, who is a definitely red zone beast. I think it was in 2022. He had 20-something touchdowns, something like that. He had 17 touchdowns with 1,000 rushing yards. That was 3 years ago, obviously, so it's different now. But I still think he is a definite red zone threat. Another thing I liked about yesterday was our Washingtons. Malik Washington was getting a lot of receptions. So was Taj Washington, but Taj Washington obviously made it a lot more impressive out of it. Like, he would catch the ball, instantly turn upfield and get more yards than when Malik Washington was getting out routes to the sideline. I think that actually all three of his catches were out routes yesterday. Now that I think, all four, I should say. Where Taj Washington was getting posts, he was getting corners, he was getting streaks, he was beating every single corner he was against. So I do believe we're going to have Taj Washington and Malik Washington fighting for that number 4 receiver spot, and unless something I am going to be talking about after this ends up happening. But Nick Westbrook-Ikine, I think Tyreek's going to still be stuck in that slot / receiver 1, and Jalen Waddle will be as receiver 2. Another thing I liked yesterday was how, where is he? He's somewhere on here. Ethan Bonner played yesterday. Ethan Bonner by far was the best corner on the entire field yesterday. He was all over the ball, pressing coverage. I don't think he allowed a catch yesterday. And the one interception that the Dolphins did end up having yesterday was because of him. He wrapped around a defender, put his arm out, deflected up, and got it picked off. I am also very excited about Storm Duck. I feel like he's always been an underrated corner. I feel like he's our next Kader Kohu, except he's just bigger. I do think Jack Jones will be splitting reps with either Storm Duck or Ethan Bonner. Depends on the two. Sorry, I'm just looking at notifications from Outlander Dickerson, who tore his Achilles. But I think this... Oh, it's actually problematic. So he has a not so serious meniscus injury. Another safety I'm excited about is Patrick Morris. We saw a lot of him last year, but he ended up getting hurt in one of the preseason games and didn't end up getting a chance where he should have. So I do believe Patrick Morris will end up getting a lot more reps since Melifonu and the other safety, I can't remember his name at the moment, is currently injured. I do believe Jack Jones is not going to be a part of the starting lineup. It will be Mike Hilton, Storm Duck, and Ethan Bonner for most of the season. Mike Hilton probably playing in that nickel position where Kader Kohu was. But a lot of our rookies played well yesterday. Kenneth Grant had a good day. Jordan Phillips was pushing back the line. Our offensive line looked great yesterday. The stats say obviously different. I think it was more of the quarterbacks not knowing what they were doing. But that's how people think of it. Now, multiple teams around the NFL are monitoring Tyreek Hill's availability. Now, what does that mean? Does Tyreek Hill end up getting traded? I don't think so. But do I want him to get traded? Yes. I think he is an awful, awful person who is ruining our locker room, not just with how he acts with Tua, how he acts with Devon A-Chain, how he acts with Mike McDaniels, but the most important thing about this entire thing is of what he said at the end of the season. I think he still believes what he said last year and just wanted to cool down of what everything happened, but I do believe he will be traded whether or not it's this year or in the mid-season this year, or he'll be cut next year because of how big his contract is. All I know is he will not be there no matter what next year because of how big his contract is. But the one thing I do want to say about this Tyreek Hill potential availability, the other receiver that I would like for him, if they were to trade him for, is Terry McLaurin. Yes, I know they're 1 year apart, but Terry McLaurin right now has probably a higher upside than Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill had a huge fall off from what he was last year. He went for 1,700 yards in 2023 and then went for 900 yards in 2024, where Terry McLaurin went up and had his best career year, and I think he would have an even better year as a Miami Dolphin just because of how big he is, and I think Tua loves his big receivers, hence why Jonnu Smith had so much as he did last year. Um, but my take is on this, I don't believe Tyreek Hill will be traded. I think he's going to stay with the team for the rest of the year, sadly. But we'll see what happens in the next few weeks, whether he attends practice, because he ended up sitting out the past 2 practices. So we'll see. The one thing I don't want him to go to the Bills, Patriots, Jets, any of those teams, or any AFC team. I'd like him to trade him out of the conference. But we'll end up seeing what's happening with that. I want to get into this. People like this, who are saying Quinn Ewers is a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa, are insane. Quinn Ewers proved that yesterday, but then again, Tua has been proving that his entire career. Yes, he has the injury problems. Yes, he has all these other issues. But the one thing you can never take away from him is how he performs with his accuracy. His accuracy is by far the I'll say top 5 in the NFL. His reads are better than Quinn Ewers. He's just an all-around better quarterback. Do I think if they don't make the playoffs this year, he will be gone next year? Yes. If they do not make the playoffs this year, I think they clear house, keep a few players from the current team right now, but everybody else leaves. I've always liked Tua, but I'm not ever gonna say he's a top 5 quarterback or anything like that. But I will say he's a top 15 quarterback, and I will always debate that, no matter what. I'll go by off stats. This past year, he was hurt, missed 6 games, and still almost threw for 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 7 picks. The interceptions, though they're not great, are still better than half the quarterbacks in the NFL. He still had one of the highest ratings in the entire NFL, had the highest completion percentage in the league. And if he does stay healthy this year, look what he did in 2023, where he had a 70% completion percentage, almost 5,000 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, with still the highest rating in the entire league. Do I think he's going to stay healthy this year? I don't know. It honestly depends how he plays, and if he decides to scramble. And if he does decide to scramble, for the love of God, please slide. Don't go for any extra contact. I do believe that this year he has a much improved offensive line compared to last year. The only issue he downgraded with was left tackle. Patrick Paul is not yet proven, though I do believe he's going to get proven within this year. He has a better offensive guard with James Daniels, better offensive guard with Jonas Savaianaya, and he's had the same center as last year, who was probably a top 5 center last year, just blocking percentages and all that. Austin Jackson, when returned healthy, he'll be a good tackle for him, whenever that is, of course. But yeah, Tua is a top 15 quarterback, if not top 12. I honestly don't know if I can name 12 better quarterbacks than him. But you all have a great rest of your day.